Imagine all the people living for today.
Lass uns auf ein anderes Thema blicken. Im Fall der abgeschossenen Maschine MH17 über der Ostukraine vor 8 Jahren wurden jetzt die Urteile gesprochen. Die Angeklagten, die müssen aber keine Strafen fürchten, weil sie sich in Russland befinden. Wie werden diese Urteile in Russland, in Moskau bewertet?
Also es hat ja dreimal lebenslänglich gegeben, jetzt in den Niederlanden. Und darunter sind eben auch 2 russische Staatsbürger, die die Niederlande für den Abschuss der MH17 verantwortlich machen. Und die wohl schillerndste Figur unter diesen Leuten ist Igor Girkin alias Igor Strelkov. Das ist ein berüchtigter Separatistenführer, der im Jahre 2014 im Sommer, als sich dieser Abschuss der Passagiermaschine ereignet hat, dem Verteidigungsminister der pro-russischen Separatisten in Donezk war. Und dieser Mann wird nicht ausgeliefert, genauso wie kein russischer Staatsbürger ausgeliefert wird, weil das eben gegen die russische Verfassung verstoßen würde. Und in Moskau spricht man von einem politischen Prozess, wieder einmal mit dem Ziel, Russland anzuschwärzen und zu diskreditieren. So diese Statements aus dem Kreml und aus dem Außenministerium, die kennen wir. So, und Girkin ist deswegen so eine, wie ich finde, interessante Figur, weil er nach wie vor eine wichtige Rolle spielt hier in Russland. Er war damals Verteidigungsminister der pro-russischen Separatisten 2014, ist dann in Ungnade gefallen, ist dann hier zum Hardliner Ultranationalisten geworden, auch zum Blogger, hat sich jetzt vor kurzem den russischen Kräften wieder angeschlossen, im Ukraine-Krieg kämpft in einem freiwilligen Bataillon und die Ukrainer haben auf Girkin ein Kopfgeld ausgesetzt von $100.000, weil er für die Ukraine einer der wichtigsten Staatsfeinde ist.
Unterwegs in die befreiten Dörfer bei Cherson erinnert noch vieles an die schweren Kämpfe. Dieser Munitionstransport hat die Front nie erreicht. Viele Soldaten, die ihn begleiteten, hatten keine Chance. Raketen trafen sie kurz hinter dem Dorf Pryschyb. Auch dessen 400 Einwohner mussten häufig Beschuss aushalten. Es gab Verletzte, auch Tote. Als der Angriff losging, wollte unsere Nachbarin Tanja Rosetska ihre Kühe von der Weide holen. Eine Granate ist direkt neben ihr detoniert. Hinterher sammelten wir ein, was von ihr übrig war. Und wir haben Tanja begraben. Zusammen mit ihrem Mann Grigori hat Katharina fast ihr ganzes Leben in diesem Haus verbracht. Strom und Gas gibt es seit Monaten nicht mehr. Für ein bisschen Wärme sorgt nur ein kleiner Ofen. Aljona murmelt sich dick ein, wenn sie hinter ihrem Haus die Enten füttert. Aber drinnen kann sie die dicken Klamotten auch nicht ablegen. Ich hoffe, dass es bald wieder Gas und Strom gibt, denn wir kriegen inzwischen nicht mal mehr Brennholz. Sie sagen uns, ihr müsst warten, warten, warten. Also warten wir. Aljona und ihre Nachbarn haben bis zum Winter auf ihre Befreier gewartet. Jetzt brauchen sie schnell Hilfe von den Instandsetzungstrupps. Auch wenn sie im Moment wenig zum Leben haben, kein Gas, keine Energie, nicht mal Wasser, trotzdem sind die Menschen hier froh, denn die 8 Monate, die sie im Trommelfeuer zwischen den Fronten verbracht haben, die sind vorbei. Aber mit den Folgen des russischen Einmarsches werden sie hier noch lange zu kämpfen haben.
Und zugeschaltet aus Moskau ist mir jetzt unser Russland-Korrespondent Christoph Wanner. Guten Morgen, Christoph. In der Ukraine sind Gasförderstätten aktuell im Fokus der russischen Angriffe. Warum?
Also Dmitri Peskov, der Sprecher des russischen Präsidenten, sagt, dass man alles angreift, was direkt oder indirekt mit dem militärischen Potenzial der Ukraine zu tun habe. Ich deute das so, dass die Russen Gasförderanlagen auch zur kritischen Infrastruktur zählen. Und diese kritische Infrastruktur, wie eben auch Elektrizitätswerke, Wärmekraftwerke, Wasserkraftwerke, werden ja schon seit Wochen und Monaten intensiv angegriffen. Also macht man da jetzt weiter, wo man am 15. November aufgehört hat, als der größte Angriff auf die zivile Infrastruktur in der Ukraine seit Kriegsbeginn stattgefunden hat. Ich denke, das Ziel von Wladimir Putin ist es, durch diese Angriffe die Bevölkerung und die Armee mürbe zu machen, also eine Zermürbungstaktik, und die Ukraine an den Verhandlungstisch zu zwingen und der Ukraine sozusagen einen Frieden zu diktieren nach russischen Vorstellungen. Auf der anderen Seite weiß man natürlich im Kreml auch, dass das nicht einfach werden wird. Letzten Endes wird man auch versuchen, irgendwie Zeit zu gewinnen über Verhandlungen, um den Krieg jetzt für einige Zeit einzufrieren, über den Winter, über diese schwierige Kältephase, um zu Kräften zu kommen, die Armee wieder aufzurüsten und dann im Frühjahr mit neuen Kräften die Ukraine wieder anzugreifen. Ich denke, das steckt hinter diesen Angriffen auf die kritische Infrastruktur und unter anderem jetzt eben auch auf die Angriffe, hinter den Angriffen auf die Gasförderanlagen in der Ukraine.
On the morning of November 17th, 4 explosions were heard at once in Dnipro, and about them were on this street. Here is quite a busy traffic and a lot of residential buildings, and next to them is a large industrial enterprise. One of the missile attacks was captured by a car digital video recorder. The explosion occurred in front of the apartment of Taisia. She was in the bedroom at that time. Only a curtain saved the woman from numerous glass fragments. It stopped them. I heard an explosion and saw a structure rushing into my face. I jumped up quickly and ran out into the corridor. There I heard a second explosion. Then there was a third explosion, and it was far away. Taisia's apartment, like those of all her neighbors, is now without windows. The blast wave knocked the roof off. The heating in the building was cut off. According to preliminary data, 14 residential buildings were seriously damaged in this area alone. The trolley bus was also left without windows. It was only a few dozen meters from the epicenter of the explosion. Despite the morning rush hour, the passengers were not injured.
There was a blast wave that shattered the windows. I stopped the trolley bus in time and asked people to come out.
At first, rescuers reported 3 people wounded as a result of a missile attack. Then the number of those who received shrapnel wounds increased to 23 people, including a 15-year-old girl. There are now 15 people in hospitals with various types of wounds. An elderly woman is in the most severe condition. She suffered a heart attack at the height of an acute resorption reaction. Diagnosed on the spot, she was hospitalized. She's in the intensive care unit, and she's the most severe patient at the moment. 3 people were rescued from under the rubble of a shop structure on the territory of the plant. A missile also hit there, and a fire broke out after the explosion.
The difficulty in extinguishing the fire is that the enemy occupiers can launch a second missile attack on the place where the rescuers are working. And as there is a structural collapse, there is a great threat to the rescuers that there could be a structural collapse where people are working at this time.
Municipal services are all examining the buildings damaged by the missile attack. The windows are temporarily covered with plastic tape, and in the near future, at the expense of the city budget, glass will be reinstalled. Reported by Ksenia Buhay, Natalia Husak, UATV News.
In Cherson, which has been liberated from the Russian occupiers, stable mobile communication from Ukrainian operators appeared for the first time in 8 months.
I'm talking to my son. We just got mobile service.
The residents say that they are ready to endure any restrictions in order not to live under Russian flags.
We have no Russians, but we are free.
Along with communication, stable high-speed internet returned to Kherson. The Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine sent almost 200 Starlinks to the city, with the help of which 5 public Wi-Fi spots were activated. In 2 weeks there will be 60 more of them, and they will be deployed all over the region.
We are in the Ukrainian city of Kherson today, handing over Starlink's generators so that the residents of Kherson are already connected.
Residents of Kherson come here to charge their smartphones from the generators and finally to call their families.
When you call a loved person and he picks up the phone and does not know what to say, it's me or not me.
The Ukrainian postal company Ukrposhta opened 2 of its branches in liberated Kherson.
I am glad to see, glad to welcome, already signed the order that the Kherson Directorate resumed work.
Here, pensions are ready to be paid out, and after the permission of the military, the mobile branches of Ukrposhta will also begin to deliver payments across the region. Residents of the de-occupied territories who have been receiving pensions on their cards all this time will be able to withdraw cash.
There are 2 branches now, and by the end of the week, up to 7 will be open for you. The central branch has an electric generator and Starlink, which will automate operations. Please come to get your money and hugs. The sorting center is ready, so we hope to be able to receive and send parcels soon. From the message of Ukrposhta on Telegram.
The city hospitals have resumed their work too. Generators have been delivered there, the regional military administration reported. At the same time, mine clearance continues in Cherson and the region. According to the State Emergency Service, 2,500 explosive objects have been found and deactivated. Specialists say that during the retreat, the Russians left many mines and tripwires. In addition, there may be unexploded shells on the territory of the region. Residents of the deoccupied settlements are urged not to go to the riverside, to the forest, and not to drive on unpaved roads until the sappers have finished their work. Reported by Roman Smoler, Faina Vasilenko, UATV News.
No one is sure where it came from. No one is clear who fired it. And no one's taken responsibility either. A missile landed in Poland, killing 2 people as the Russia-Ukraine war rages on. But who fired at a NATO member state? Because if you attack one NATO member, you attack them all, and you know who all's coming for you after that. Let's take a look at the missile which nearly caused a world war and the countries that own it. The S-300 is a family of surface-to-air missiles originally developed by the Soviet Union. It was first put into operation in the late 1970s. Now there are several versions of the S-300 rocket with different capabilities and ranges. The standard versions have a maximum range of 150 kilometers. The most recent version of the S-300 has a range of 350 kilometers. It is almost an equivalent to the US Patriot surface-to-air missile system. S-300 missiles are equipped with guidance systems and are intended to track and shoot down aircraft, drones, and incoming cruise and ballistic missiles. The launchers include detection radars. It is used by both Russia and Ukraine, as well as 18 other countries including NATO members Greece, Slovakia, and Bulgaria. India owns the S-125 systems, but those surface-to-air missile systems have advanced radars which are incorporated with the S-300 system. So essentially, India uses the radars from the S-300 missile. India owns the more advanced Russian S-400, which has been deployed to fortify India's vulnerable stretches near border areas. While NATO and Poland have both stated that it does not seem that Russia was behind the missile strike, but Ukrainian president still argues otherwise.
У мене є своя думка. Я вважаю, що це російська ракета. Я так вважаю, згідно довіри до доповіді військових.
Overall, the harsh reality of our times is that even one old missile landing few kilometers wrongly can cause a world war. Some nations still believe that this blast is Russia's fault because it would have never happened if Russia did not invade Ukraine in the first place. How close do you think we are to a world war?
Die Lecks an den Gaspipelines Nord Stream 1 und 2 waren Sabotage. Das stellen heute schwedische Ermittler offiziell fest. Und sie bestätigen damit, was schon vermutet worden ist. An den Pipelines wurden Sprengstoffspuren entdeckt. Wer dafür verantwortlich ist, wurde bisher nicht ausgemacht.
Ende September stiegen in der Ostsee Blasen auf. Erdgas aus den Nord Stream Pipelines. Kurz davor hatten Dänemark und Schweden Erschütterungen gemessen. Bald darauf wurden Löcher in den Rohren festgestellt. Eines davon war 50 Meter groß, entstanden von heute auf morgen, eher kein technischer Defekt. Die Lecks waren Folgen einer Explosion. Wer, warum dahinter steht, ist nicht geklärt. Russland beschuldigte zuerst die USA, dann Großbritannien und steht selbst unter Verdacht. Fest steht, die Diskussion über eine Wiederaufnahme der russischen Gaslieferungen durch Nord Stream 1 hat sich für längere Zeit erübrigt. Oder wie der Betreiber es ausdrückt, es ändert nichts an der Sachlage, die Pipeline ist kaputt.
Бажаю здоров'я, шановні українці. Сьогодні маємо важливі міжнародні результати.
Good health to you, fellow Ukrainians. We had important international results on November 17th. Our grain export initiative has been extended. Despite all the difficulties, despite various manipulations by Russia, we will continue to export agricultural products through our Black Sea ports. This is a very specific thing that makes the world see the importance of Ukraine. Since August 1st, more than 450 ships have already left the ports of Great Odessa. The total amount of food is 11 million tons. The geography is very broad. Morocco, Algeria, Libya, Tunisia, Egypt, Sudan, Ethiopia, Somalia, Kenya, Yemen, Lebanon, Bangladesh, China, India, Indonesia, Turkey, as well as the countries of the European Union. Tens of millions of people, primarily in African countries, have been saved from starvation, in particular by means of deliveries in the framework of the UN World Food Programme from our ports. We also managed to reduce the pressure on the global food market, and this means that food prices are significantly lower than they would be without our export. We have done everything to expand this work, and I thank all our partners who are helping, the UN and Secretary General Guterres personally, Turkey and the President Erdogan personally. Thanks to everyone in our team who is responsible for this direction. This is a truly important result. On November 17th, a meeting was held in the office regarding our Grain from Ukraine initiative. We have the consent of such countries as Germany, Poland, Belgium, Japan, Turkey, and the USA to join the work of the initiative. But these are the countries that have already made up their mind. There will be more participating countries. The meaning is very simple and as specific as possible. All the countries of the world, together with Ukraine, can ensure the supply of food for those in the world who suffer the most from food shortages. We will provide more details on how this will work shortly. I believe that this Russian aggression should lead the whole world to an obvious conclusion. Never again should there be mass famine in the world. If the world works in unity, famine will be defeated. A very important decision was adopted on November 17th in the Netherlands. There is the first sentence for the murderers who destroyed the Malaysian Boeing in the sky over Donbass in 2014. 3 men were sentenced to life imprisonment, and the day will surely come when they will begin to serve this punishment. But this decision is not just about 3 murderers. Russia lied a lot about this catastrophe, but nevertheless the key facts were established. Now the perpetrators have been convicted, and the basis is provided to convict the culprits of a higher level too. Those who bear personal responsibility for the crime of aggression against Ukraine, the original crime that gave rise to all other committed by Russians since 2014. This is something without which it is impossible to protect the world from the repetition of such wars as Russian aggression against our state. When all the murderers and torturers are convicted, when their commanders and political cover face fair sentences, when Russia compensates for all the damage caused by Russian aggression, it will be a very solid foundation for a lasting peace. We have all the possibilities to ensure this. Every Russian war crime, every terrorist attack of theirs will receive its legal response. This decision in The Hague proves it. The elimination of the consequences of another missile attack against Ukraine continues. Again, there are emergency shutdowns in addition to planned stabilization ones. Currently, more than 10 million Ukrainians are without electricity. Most of them are in the Vinnytsia region, Odessa region, Sumy region, and Kiev. We are doing everything to normalize the supply. In Dnipro, dozens of people were injured as a result of a missile attack. Everyone is provided with aid. In Zaporizhia, the clearance of the rubble of a residential building which was destroyed by Russian shelling continues. The list of the dead includes 7 people. Unfortunately, this number may increase. Only in the first half of the day of November 17th, our defense forces managed to shot down 6 Russian cruise missiles and 5 Shahed drones. Unfortunately, not all of those launched by terrorists. We repeat to our partners again and again that only full protection of the Ukrainian sky will protect both Ukraine and Europe from many possible escalations of Russian aggression and will definitely encourage Russia to truly end the war. Not to the kind of propaganda that now sounds from the Kremlin about the alleged readiness for negotiations in order to buy some time and gather forces for a new offensive, but to real peace. I would like to thank Finland and Sweden for their decision regarding the new defense assistance packages. This is very important. Each such decision of the states make them co-creators of our victory and future peace. On November 17th, I signed several decrees on awarding our warriors. 402 servicemen of the armed forces of Ukraine were honored with state awards. In total, since February 24, more than 32,000 Ukrainian men and women have been awarded for bravery in battles, 4,950 of them posthumously. We must always remember how many people gave their lives to save Ukraine and freedom. Eternal memory to all those whose lives were taken by Russian aggression. Glory to all who gain victory for Ukraine. Gratitude to everyone who helps us and works for the state. Glory to Ukraine.
Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all